Emmanuel Community.
Welcome to Celebrate Aging. I'm Vicki Marthaler, your hostess today here at Emmanuel Community. And it is almost the month of February. And we know that February is noted for Valentine's Day. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about that concept of Valentine's Day and loving people. And next week and the week after, we might even hear some wonderful stories of how our residents found their spouses and fell in love, and we're working on those stories. But right now, I was thinking more too about the broader concept of love and how do we love and care for each other. Here at Emmanuel, I see examples of how we love and care for each other every day. For in the giving care, you can't help but show love in beautiful ways. And since I'm also the co-facilitator of the Alzheimer's support group, I found a beautiful little letter called A Salute to Love that was written by someone who has a loved one who has Alzheimer's. And I wanted to share that with you. And then I'm also going to read to you a little bit from this book. This is a book that we have several books at our Alzheimer's support group where we encourage people to read other people's stories, to connect and get more education and more information so that you can best care and love the person in your life. This is called Through the Wilderness of Alzheimer's with Two Voices. It's a husband and a wife who have taken the time and energy and felt the need to write down their experience thus far with the disease of Alzheimer's. The husband had been diagnosed, and so he writes as he is able, and the wife writes as she is able, and they talk about their experience into Alzheimer's. And so I'm going to read from that as well, because there's nothing more powerful than somebody sharing from the heart. And I read this whole book almost in 2 sittings just because it was so gripping and easy to identify with them. But it's written by Robert and Ann Simpson. But first let me read to you this little story, and it's called A Salute to Love. And as we think about Valentine's Day and, of course, loving our spouse or being loved by our spouse, also, how do we love our family, and how do we love our friends, and how do we love our neighbor? It was a busy morning, approximately 8:30, when an elderly gentleman in his 80s came to have sutures removed from his thumb. He stated, so obviously this is a nurse writing this article, he stated he was in a hurry as he had an appointment at 9 a.m. So I took his vital signs and I had him take a seat, knowing it would probably be over an hour before someone would be able to see him. Sometimes that's how it is, isn't it, in clinics and things when you go for an appointment. So the nurse said, I saw him looking at his watch and decided, since I was not busy with another patient, I would evaluate his wound. Upon exam, I saw that it was healed. So I talked to one of the doctors, got the needed supplies to remove his sutures and redress his wound. While taking care of him, we began to engage in conversation. I asked him if he had a doctor's appointment this morning as he was in such a hurry. The gentleman told me no, that he wanted to go to the nursing home to eat breakfast with his wife. So I then inquired about her health. He told me that she had been there for a while and that she had Alzheimer's disease. As we talked and I finished dressing his wound, I asked if she would be worried if he was a bit late. He replied that she no longer knew who he was, that she did not recognize him, and that she hadn't recognized him for over 5 years now. I was surprised, and I said, "And you still go every morning, even though she doesn't know who you are?" He smiled, and then he patted my hand and he said, "She doesn't know me, but I still know her." The nurse said I had to hold back tears as he left. And I thought, that's the kind of love I want in my life. What a beautiful sharing of someone who cares about someone. Well, let me read to you a little bit from this book as well. Again, if you have somebody who you're caring for, someone who has dementia of some kind, maybe Alzheimer's, know that you're not alone. Here at Emmanuel, we have a support group and we have a home health services, if that would help make your life easier. We also have nurses and we have aides who can help give you ideas on how to better care if you're faced with a challenging behavior or a new stage in the development of the person who has Alzheimer's or a dementia like it, maybe Lewy bodies, Huntington's disease, Pick's disease. There are many different kinds of dementia, and many of them require a lot of care. And it's important that you remain strong as a caregiver and encouraged in your giving care. So know that Emmanuel is here, that we would love to walk the journey with you to give you encouragement or education or assistance, whatever is needful. And this book, like I say, I ordered it for our Alzheimer's support group, and we have several books, and you can just check them out like a library and look through them, read through them, and see if indeed they can help. So this now, Robert and Ann Simpson who are writing this is Ann writing this part. But I thought it was important as we enter this month of February, this month of love, this month of care. How can we care for our neighbor? How can we care for our family member? How can we care for the one who is struggling? So she writes, I was remembering when my father died almost 40 years ago. My mother was offended if people mentioned his death in public. It was considered to be in poor taste at that time. But I felt that people who ignored the most important thing that had ever happened to me, my father's death, actually they were indifferent or unwilling to accept that I was a hurting, vulnerable young person and that I might need someone to talk to. If you cannot talk to us in person, use the telephone. Write a note. This year in our Christmas card, we told long-distance friends that Bob had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. Some people didn't respond to the news at all. Were they afraid of saying the wrong thing? Were they unwilling to face their own fear of getting this dread disease? Others tried to pass off the bad news and quickly move on to something more cheerful. I think that's pretty normal. Example, oh, don't worry, the doctors can give him something. Or, we're fine and healthy in our family. Too bad for you. Or, boy, life's weird. But the most helpful responses we received simply acknowledged what we had said. We're devastated to hear the news. How sad. You are much too young. And with those responses, we felt like we had been heard. We also felt affirmed by messages of hope. These could be the best years of your life together. Sorry to hear about the Alzheimer's, but I know you can cope. It's very important to share hope and good news with Alzheimer's patients and their loved ones. In his Christmas card, one friend told us that his mother's most appealing traits came forward clearly, even as her mental powers waned with Alzheimer's. Another man wrote about the very gradual decline of his father, and he said there can be many good years still. Send us articles that you read about new treatments, drugs, or research. Send us jokes and cartoons. Tell us the news of your family. Share any interest or activity that you can. One of Bob's highest accolades was from a golfing friend who called to tell me, I like to play with him. He makes me laugh. It's a joyful time. With Alzheimer's disease, there is progressive loss and grief is chronic. It will not go away or be cured in a month or in a year. But yet the same, We share our story, and we're happy to hear yours. As you give love and care, know that it's sometimes just the littlest of things. But we trust that you know Emmanuel's here, and if there's any way we can show love and care for you or your family, come. Let us know of your need. We're here for you. Have a blessed day.